Welcome back to another trade recap. As you can see by the title, today wasn't the day that I wanted, but it's the day that we had, and there's a lot to talk about in this trade recap. A lot went down. A lot of things I'm upset about, a little pissed about because I know better. Right now, if you haven't seen the live execution of this trade, you can check out my Instagram or my TikTok. They'll be down below in the description. You can check those out. But you can see that right here, this is exactly where I got stopped out for the loss. And I mean, you could see what ended up happening as soon as I got stopped out. So that's why I'm a little bit pissed about today, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's trading. This happened to me so many times. That's why I should have known better to put a little buffer on my stop loss. I always know, like I've said it in previous trade recaps, to put a buffer on my stop loss, just like at least 3 points, 3 to 5 points. But this time I put it exactly where the top of the supply was. And we just got stopped out, and then we hit full TP. That's the name of the game. That's something that I got to deal with. And, it hurts. It does hurt. But before we get into the full trade recap, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, my team and I, we are just opening up our one-on-one mentorship spots. I already got a few spots filled, so make sure to apply with the link down below. It takes 1 minute to apply if you're looking for a mentorship, if you're looking to level up in your trading, build a strategy. If you're new to trading or have experience, but you find yourself failing, that's what this mentorship is all about, just to help guide you to profitability, making sure that you have a system that you can follow, for, the future. It's not just to get results now, but to make sure that you're getting results in the future as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, if that's something that you need to help get to that next level in trading, just apply. Like I said, it just takes 1 minute to apply. We'll reach out to you to see if you're the right fit for this mentorship. And just make sure to apply down below. But other than that, let's just get straight into this trade recap. So this was one of those days. You could probably tell by my vibe, like just looking at this trade right now just ticks me off a little bit, because I know all I had to do was just put my stop loss 3 to 5 points above my zone, and I would have been totally fine. It would have been a long trade. Probably would have been in this trade for about 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. That's probably would have been my longest. But honestly, I probably would have taken out on this trade. If you see my past trades, I always take out a little bit before TP hits, so I possibly would have taken out right here. But at the end of the day, I can't say could have, would have, should have. What happened. But the overall bias for today, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I had a bullish bias, because we can see that we have this daily demand that it tapped into. So I thought we were gonna get a push up, and we could see if we go back to 930. If we go back to 930, we can see that this is the buying candle that happened. So I thought it was going to continue to push up. But we have this demand right here that I was initially looking at, but it happened way too early at 9:32. We tapped into the demand. I usually like to wait at least 5-7 minutes after New York session before even looking for a trade. So I saw this trade on the 2 minute, I think it was. Yeah, so we broke this structure, this lower structure that I was waiting to break. Broke it. So that was my indication that, now I'm going to look for a supply, and I found this supply. So this buying candle followed by this selling candle. That was the supply that I marked out. We tapped into the supply. We started to get a small rejection. And then we just started consolidating, and then eventually we got stopped out. Like I said, we got stopped out by 1 point. I don't even think on TradingView we got stopped out. Let me see, I have 2 here. Let me delete this. Yeah, we barely got stopped out. I think it tapped in the same exact one. So on Trade Locker, we got stopped out by a point. And then we just started getting that rejection, but I wasn't in the trade anymore, so it was just a loss. But one thing that I could learn from this trade is that definitely put a buffer on my trades. If you guys, I'm gonna keep doing these trade recaps, and honestly, I want you guys to hold me accountable too. If I take another loss like this where I don't have a buffer, there's got to be like some type of punishment or something, because this happened multiple times. It's like, it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens like at least, I'd say like once a month or once every 2 months. And this type of stuff just ticks me off, because you're gonna see in the future trades that I'm gonna start putting a buffer, but then I stop. Like, it's just like a habit. Like, after you get like a few wins and after you start seeing your trades not really going towards stop loss, you stop putting the buffer. And in this case, I didn't put the buffer, but we ended up hitting full TP. It was a really choppy day. Honestly, if I didn't get in this trade right here, I probably wouldn't have traded at all today. We have this supply right here, but I like to trade from my optimal entry time is like 9:37 a.m. to about 10 a.m. So I have like a 20-25 minute window where I like to look for a trade. This trade happened at about like 9:30. Well, we got in at 9:36. So like that 5 to 7 minutes after New York session, that's when I like to look for a trade. So this did happen in my optimal entry time, and this was a good trade. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It's just the one mistake that I made was not putting a buffer on this trade. But all in all, this trade was a really good trade. It was about a 1.2 risk to reward. Thursdays, because Friday was 4th of July. Thursday's trade, we had like a 2.5 risk to reward. But this trade would have just been a 1.2, which I would have been satisfied with. But we didn't even hit that, so it doesn't even matter at the end of the day. But we're starting to head down. Still kind of in this consolidation, but that breaker structure just kind of indicated to me that we're going to continue to head down, and it did continue to head down. Like, my analysis was correct, everything was correct. It's just we just got stopped out. That's the name of the game. Can't really be too mad about it. Actually, I am a little mad about it, but I'm mad at myself rather than the market. Can never blame the market, because the market is going to do its job. It's going to take, its job is to take my money. My job is to follow the trend of how they make money and follow kind of like that wave. So I'll never blame the market for anything that it does. If I ever make a mistake, it's all on me, and I got to take it on the chin. And I took this one definitely on the chin, took a loss. It's never fun losing money. But this is just one of those expenses. And now, for the rest of the week, I'm going to try to make my profits. But, this is what trading is. This is me being fully transparent, showing you the trades that I take. And it was just one of those trades. But all in all, not the best way to start the week. Of course, I always want to start the week with a win just to get that mindset right. So, the rest of the week now, I'm going to have to take it a little bit slower. Probably going to have to take like a 1-to-1 trade just to secure profits. But, I'm going to continue to follow my system, which is, following structure. I'm just going to continue to follow structure and, follow my trades based off that. So I'm not going to let this loss define anything, because Thursday I just had a really big win. So today, we had a small loss. So just got to take it on the chin. And, we'll get back, definitely. We're going to definitely get back. I'm definitely confident in that. Not down or whatever, but just a little pissed, just a little mad. But, it's going to happen. And, yeah, so that's pretty much the trade recap. Not too much going on here. Just took a loss. That's just what it is. Just took a loss. So we'll be back tomorrow. If I trade tomorrow, we'll be back. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another trade recap.